sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Tuesday, May 10th, 2022, already a third away through the month of May. As myself and Scott try to get you caught up in the sports market today as we get closer to post time and the start of the NBA and NHL playoffs tonight. And pretty big slate in the MLB. One game has gone final as Detroit wins game one, 6-0. Scooble over Montas. Thank you very much, Detroit, for showing up last night for us. And, of course, in the second game, Oakland's trying to return the favor, and they lead 2-0, bottom of the fifth. Martinez versus Fado. Not Bernie Fratto that comes on our show from Fox Sports Radio, but Fado. Charlie McAvoy has entered the building. He will play tonight in the crucial game 5. Bruins at Carolina. Carolina minus 145. Bruins plus 135. For the ECSI VIP guys and gals, we're sitting on 2 series tickets there. Pick 'em and plus 170. So if we could steal this one, that would be huge for us. I don't know what I'm expecting. Hard for it. If we're due to lose one, it'll be tonight, obviously, and then get game 6, and then best of 7. Winner goes on, loser goes golfing. But we'll see how that goes. The VIPs have our plays for today. As we're going to talk to Scott, and we saw it yesterday, and Dave Sharapan talked about it this morning. We're in week 5 of the MLB. A lot of data. The weather's getting warmer. We've been waiting for offenses to wake up. But the kid in the candy store effect, or I'm just going to play all the chalk on run lines, just obviously didn't work. Yesterday, if you had the Yankees or the Dodgers lose outright. The Reds have now won 3 in a row as they take down the Brewers. So a lot of landmines. We like to look at them as gold mines before the games start, but they were definitely landmines. So without further ado, let's bring him in from the Palm Tree State himself. He, too, is in a crucial game 5, Lightning versus Leafs, the one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Afternoon, Scotty.
Hey, don't we just like landmines around here? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing, stepping on landmines?
Oh, God, sometimes it feels that way. You know, bitch, yell, scream, moan when we lose a game in the bottom of the 5th or a walk-off in the 9th or something. And I talk a lot of times, Scotty, isn't it better sometimes to lose 15-0, get it over with, like ripping that Band-Aid, than, just to be, kicked in the you-know-what. But last night was a night where, again, our eyes are trained certain way. And I talk about this all the time. We'll go back to the Derby. If I handed you $20 to go bet the 21 at 80-1, you would have just laughed at me and says, no, you keep it, or go to the window and bet, Padres. I always bring this up, plus 250 at home versus Kershaw, and the Dodgers have just rattled off 15 in a row. And we're not wired that way. Most people are wired to see the favorite and figure out how we're going to get the favorite in. And it just doesn't work that way, especially in baseball in 162 games.
Well, baseball seems to find a way to make it so that the dominant team isn't so dominant all the time, right? But I think you can find spots. I was trying to look at a couple things, and some of this stuff is interesting, only in a sense that you go. So let's just do it this way. So when you're playing a baseball game, or not playing, you're going to bet it. Ideally, you just want to pick the winner because, theoretically, you're not going to cover a line. You're just going to pick the winner. Okay, so as you go through and you just discuss it and you figure it out, you go, okay, this makes sense. These are the games that are going to win. Okay, well, then you go and you say, oh, well, this one's minus 230. This one's minus 180. This one's minus 175. Okay, well, I can't play those. at that price. So then you try to figure out, how do I get into these games? And I think that you got to set some rules for yourself as to how you're going to get into these games, because I'm a firm believer in that first five. I mean, I like it. The first five minus a half a run. I think it's a really, really pretty cool deal, especially because the home team gets to bat. You don't lose that at bat. But they're making it a little rougher. The numbers are getting a little higher, and some of these guys are making it even more intriguing, right? Your DraftKings, what was that, -1? And so if you land on one, you get your money back. So that's not a terrible thing. And I was looking at it today. So San Francisco plays Colorado tonight, and their first five -1 at DraftKings is -105. Okay. Everybody else is like -140, -145, whatever the number is. So, but they're a half a run. So here you got to cover two, but you get your money back at one. So, okay, if you got to cover two, then what's the run line on a full game? Well, it's the same thing, right? I mean, you still got to cover two. It's 1.5. Although if you get a one, you don't get your money back. That number is +105. So it goes from -105 in the first 5 innings to +105 in the full game. So why would you want to do a half? I mean, I get it. You would sit there and go, okay, I get my money back on a tie, but you're getting plus money now, and you're really counting on them to do the same thing, sort of. So it's, you got to try to figure that out. So then I went and looked it up. You know what San Francisco Giants are on the run line at home this year? They played 16 games. I'll just give you that. What do you think the record is?
For a run line at home? 8-8.
How about 5-11? You want to bet that? Nope, not me. So I wouldn't mind 8-8. I think on a run line at home, that's probably pretty good. Because you're not gonna beat that number a whole bunch of times, because you got to win by 2 and you don't get one at bat. So you got to be a pretty good offense, like the Yankees, right? Yankees are 8-8 at home on the run line. That's not terrible. So then you got to figure out, how do you get into some of these games? So I don't mind people playing the run line. You just have to know what you're doing, and you have to know why you're doing certain things. I don't mind playing the run line in the first 5 innings, or a first 5 innings bet altogether, if you're trying to stay away from bullpens and stuff, because that's important too. That's part of the handicap. If you're just trying to play the run lines to change the odds, I think you got to really think about your strategy and think it all the way through, because you need to know what you're betting. And I don't know that everybody does. I think they just sit there and go, okay, how do I get into this game? I'm going to do it on the run line, and if I win, I win. If I lose, I don't. And I'm okay. I mean, that's how you want to get in the game, but you can step on landmines that way too. I was on Milwaukee yesterday, and it's a perfect example. But I thought that Milwaukee was going to jump on Cincinnati pitcher and do pretty well yesterday, and they did. I mean, they were ahead 3-1 in the top of going into the bottom of the 5th inning. Not a problem. Got to get 3 outs. Woodruff's on the mound, not really having too much of a problem. Gave up 1 early home run, and then 8 straight hits later, they got 5 runs, and it's adios, and you lose the game in the bottom of the 5th inning. It is what it is. So good thing I had Nola yesterday, or not Nola. I had the Phillies yesterday, and they came through Suarez on an underdog play, so that was good. But I mean, it's one of those things where all you can do is try to figure out where you're at and leverage your best opportunities. And the way I look at it is, the more balls you can put in play, the more opportunities you get guys on base, the more opportunities you can score runs. That's the team you bet on.
Yeah, and you're talking about first five into a full game run line, and we've talked about 27 outs versus 4 outs, and you're just breaking down the numbers there. And when you think about it, it really makes sense because from the sixth inning on, the away team again is going to get a guaranteed 12 outs. You're going to get a guaranteed 9 outs, and now you're not just you know worried about the starting pitcher. You're now worried about the bullpens. And in today's game, it's going to change more this month. These guys are going to get stretched out even further. This is like the game that I'm hearing from the locals that will decide if Whitlock's staying in the rotation or they're going to put him into the bullpen. And
You better hope he does bad then.
Exactly. He's set up to go 5 to 6 innings today and over 100 pitches. Now, you know my thoughts about that. You know where I want him, but that's what you're going to start to see is a few of these pitches now getting to the 100, 105, getting, into the sixth and seventh inning. So the less arms that you need to close out a game, obviously, the better. So the ECSI VIPs, again, have our games today. And Scott, I did go against my golden rule. I do have a full game run line with a home team today.
Me too.
I hope we're on the same one. So let me bring the board up.
I don't think we're going to be on the same one, but I have one.
I don't either, but there's the board right there. I actually hold on 1 second. There you go. Why is that on? Should be full game. Yep, there you go. You're all set.
So there's a lot of stuff out here that I looked at, and one of the things that I started looking at and I wanted to wager on to start is a couple of side notes here. So Kluber, and I shouldn't say Kluber, Tampa Bay is playing today against a left-handed pitcher, and they've faced a left-handed pitcher 7 times this year. They're 6-1 against left-handed pitchers. So I'm like, well, that sounds pretty good. Let me see if I can get into this game. And I don't think I can get there because Kluber's last 2 starts have been game scores over 70. That's pretty damn good. And Detmers is a game score 47 last time out. He's a 47 on the season. That's about what he's going to do all the time. But their metrics are about the same. I mean, Sierra number for Kluber is 3.33, and for Detmers it's 3.85. Kluber's got a little bit more strikeouts. Walk rate's about the same. So I just don't think that I want to get involved where Kluber's had 2 great starts. The Angels had a great game last night. They got home runs from Trout. They got 2 home runs from Ohtani, a grand slam from Ohtani. I just think the Angels are on fire right now. And even though I like the Rays in this spot, I don't want to get – if Kluber was an underdog, I think I would play it. But with him being an away favorite today, I stayed off of that one. And then the other one that's kind of interesting is the Texas game with Perez on the mound. And Perez has been, I don't know, lights out for the last couple of 3 starts in a row. I mean, just great. But I think people forget the first 2 starts he had were abysmal. So he's a good pitcher, and they play Kansas City, who can't hit their way out of a box. So it's going to be one of those spots where can Keller pitch really well for Kansas City, and he has been. He's going to. He's a younger guy. He's going to pitch pretty well most of the time. He's a ground ball guy, so that takes away a lot of the home runs that Texas it would be known for with Seager and Simeon, who hasn't hit worth crap yet. So I decided I'm not going to go there, even though Kansas City is 1-5 against left-handed pitching. You're looking at Perez being a minus 140, 135 type favorite. I'm like, that's too high. So I can't value that. I like some of these games with Whitlock and Wright today. I think Wright's going to win. I think Braves are going to win. Verlander and Ryan should be a pretty good matchup. I don't think people really realize that Ryan has thrown 19 innings and only allowed 1 run in the last, I think, 3 or 4 games that he's pitched. So that's pretty good. That's better than Verlander. But at the same time, if you're going to play Minnesota, you'd want Correa out there, and he's not going to be playing for another little bit. And he didn't break his hand, so that's even better. They'll get him back shortly. I think he's got, the way I understand it, it's a deep bruise in his bone. He's having a hard time squeezing the bat. So he probably will go on the IL and probably be a 10-day, 2-week type thing where he'll be gone. So I've narrowed down a lot of games and I whacked off all. I just there you're gone for lots of reasons. So the game I'm playing at home on the run line is the Yankees today. Is that your game? No. I didn't think it was going to be your game. The reason I like the Yankees at home is I think Kikuchi gets destroyed tonight. He had a great start the last time out. His game score for the season is a 41. So just remember, it's a 41. That's well below average. His last time out was a 64. His last time out was against the Yankees. This will be his 3rd time pitching against the Yankees. The first time he pitched against the Yankees, he threw a game score 40. That's more or less what I'm expecting. So I looked at this game and I thought, how do I play it? Because Severino has had real good success against Toronto. His ex-WOBA against that team. So his predicted weighted on base average is 239. That's an extremely low number. So his last time out was a game score 38. So I expect him to do well against Toronto, and he's due to have a really good game. So do you do it in the first 5 innings? Well, the question became that, and if you do it in the first 5 innings, he's minus 120. So first 5 is minus a half a run, minus 120. Okay, well that's pretty good. But whose bullpen's better, Toronto or the Yankees? Well, right now the Yankees are number 1 in the bullpen. So I don't want to lose that disadvantage today. I would rather play with that advantage. So that means you got to play a full game. So if you play it the full game and you do it 1.5, the actual number goes from first 5 minus a half run at minus 120 to minus 1.5 at home plus 130. And if you think like I do, I think that Kikuchi gets beat up a little bit here. So they might get 4 or 5 runs against him. And if they do that, then they get ahead, and then the bullpen comes in. They kind of keep out of the way, and I think they can win by 2. So I'm playing it that way instead of the first 5 innings. And then the only other game, because I like Nola today, I just don't want to get involved. Nola is another guy in Philadelphia who should have a good start. But Robbie Ray is due for a good start. His last time out wasn't so good. So I think it's going to be a pitcher's battle there. Clevenger, I like him today, but it's the first time for Miley. Wade Miley's getting his first start today for the Cubs. So the only other game that I'm going to play is I decided I was going to try that DraftKings thing. At minus 1 on the first 5 innings, and that's the San Francisco Giants at minus 1 first 5 innings, minus 105 in the San Francisco Giants. I like the idea here that Senzatella, he's not a bad pitcher, but we talked about balls in play, right? So he's got a 5.32 Sierra number, which is really bad. He's got a .356 ex-WOBA number against the San Francisco Giants. That means they hit him pretty good. His strikeout rate per 9 innings, 2.6. So he don't strike anybody out. So the balls are going to be put in play. Batting average against 388. They're almost hitting 400 against this guy. 1.8 guys per on base per inning. So I like the idea that San Francisco is going to have base runners. They're going to have the opportunity to score. I wish I could have taken it a little further than 5 innings, but I don't think I'm going to have to because I think San Francisco's bullpen's much better. But I didn't want to get involved in another minus half plus 105 on a team that's 5-11 at home as a run line favorite. So those are my only two plays today.
For myself, I talked this morning about a few of these games and Philly, Miami. The money's pouring in on Philly. They won the last two games in Philadelphia. I do know when they were on the road without Embiid, they were 7 or 8 point dogs. Now they opened at 3. I didn't see a 3.5 anywhere. I saw some 3s down to 2.5. Kind of a must win, I think, obviously for Miami. You don't want to lose 3 in a row and then go back to Philly having to win. I think the value here is on Miami. I'm staying away, but I would lean Miami to figure it out at home. Dallas and Phoenix, again, everyone is betting on the come here. Phoenix has lost 2 games in a row. They're not going to lose 3 in a row. They're coming back home. Chris Paul will not foul out. I'm not a guy to get my money in with the public and betting on the come there. The bases that Scott broke down very well have some landmines, some gold mines. Basically, in a nutshell, green for Cincinnati has been horrendous. Kind of surprised they're throwing him out there again. Peralta, facing Peralta. I think common sense would have the Brewers. You'd come back with them first 5 here. Cincinnati quietly has now won 3 in a row. I'm staying away. Also, going against Corbin's been okay this year. Looked at the Mets first 5 over Washington. I just don't trust Carrasco that much. Scott was spot on. Miley's first start. And I can tell you, Miley has thrown some gems. I mean, a few years ago, he was with the Red Sox. He's bounced around Cincinnati, yada, yada, yada. Now with the Cubs, I don't know what to expect. And the same with Clevenger, staying away there. My love affair with Luzardo, and Miami just can't win. They're snake bit. This Arizona team quietly, Scott, is winning games. They are currently... Let me see if I can scroll down here on Don.
15 and 14 or something, or 16 and 14. Just off the top of my head.
16 and 14, yeah. So I like Miami. I lean Miami, but I'm staying away. I think Luzardo now is overpriced there. I like your eyes with San Fran. I was talking to Billy about this today. I just can't get in there, and not a lot of people have the options with DraftKings. Minus the 1 run. A lot of people don't have. If you do have that, I love that play. I think they get out early and hold on. Don't have to deal with the back end there. Kukuc, you're right. He was a godsend, I thought, for Toronto to add length. He was horrendous all year. Coming off a good start. Most people will say, third time around, Yanks should pounce on him. The Severino, I don't know what I'm going to get from him as well. I think Kukuc is sneaky today, to be honest with you. I stayed away there. The Houston-Minnesota game, I've been talking all along. This Ryan has been an express, no pun intended there. But when I dig deeper into these lines and I see that Verlander is a minus 142 first 5, I like that spot. We had him. He's been very good to us early this year. We did have that 3-0 lead, then 3-1, and then he gives up a homer to the number 8 and 9 guy about 10 days ago. But back in the well, I think they cover I'm not laying the juice. I like the minus half run plus 110. I think there's some value there. Kansas City, Texas, you talked about it. I'm passing there. Here's the next game. There was a stat last week. SoCal Jen, who's in one of our threads on Twitter, Quantrill history when minus 105 or worse. His teams are like 1-19. I just couldn't get in there the first 5. The money wasn't right and the price wasn't right. So you can get plus money on the White Sox minus the 1.5. And if anyone went to bed early, think that they cashed them yesterday. They were up 8-2 heading into the 9th, and miraculously the Guardians tied it and then won 12-9 in extras. Josh
Naylor, seven RBIs and like 2 at-bats.
Yes, an amazing game that he had. The Tampa Bay and Angel game really caught my eye. Angels opened up minus 115. Kluber now minus 116. I think that's going to be a a nice pizza and popcorn game there. I lean Red Sox first 5. I do. I think they're going to, they historically, when they've traveled to face the National League teams, they've done well. Now, this is a bad Red Sox team at 10-19. Cora has shaved the beard off. Orsillo is doing the commentating, and Hazel May is making an appearance tonight as well. Trust me, that's not the reason why I like that. I think it's going to be a great pitchers duel matchup. The Sox plus a half run first 5 is already up to minus 145. I think you could sneak in a Whitlock first 5 and get some plus 115 money if you felt froggy. Baltimore St. Louis intrigued me. I think that's a lot of respect to Baltimore, or maybe not a respect to Naughton. I don't know much about them, but I faded that game. And then Phillies and the Mariners. Ray opened up plus 125. Your McClanahan was minus 135, and we nailed Tampa that day. If you look at the opening number here, the Rays overnight were minus 110. So I'm not going to buy the flip here. I think it's going to be a great pitching matchup. Nola first 5 on the day. Verlander blew up at us. He blew a 3-0 lead. I think this gets to the bullpens, and I want no part of either one of those. In hockey, Edmonton needs this game. It's 2-2. Maybe you could sneak in a regulation play there. They're minus 138 in regulation. As Dave Sharapian talked about, the puck lines and overs are flying in right now. Toronto, Tampa. This has been in every other series. I like Toronto to win tonight and then go to Tampa. And Vasilevsky is 17-0 after a playoff loss there. St. Louis and Minnesota, I think the Wild wake up. I think they take care of business. They get the 3-2 lead. I like them in regulation tonight. And Bruins in Carolina, they got a spark. Charlie McAvoy was flown in. He is past COVID protocol. He will be playing tonight. The Bruins have won 2 in a row, and now kind of a desperate game for Carolina where they have just been lights out. So if you want some plus money on the Bruins, it's one of these games that don't watch the game because, you'll know early here. The Hurricanes have been a force at home, but I think the Bruins are riding some good momentum. They'll need Swayman to stand on his head, but I think you can get a solid effort from them tonight as well. Closing thoughts, Scotty.
Well, I talked a little bit about some of these things yesterday, but keep an eye on base runs. Keep an eye on defense a little bit. I mean, to help you with some of these things that go down, to figure out who's going to be the better teams to playoff runs. Keep an eye on your run differential. These things help you with really trying to figure out the quality of teams. So I do like all of those things. I just don't want to sit here and think that those are the number one things that you got. But those things help you grade out what a team is versus kind of trying to read through the weeds a little bit. Offense is coming. I keep saying that, but it is. It's gone from a batting average of 231 to now we're up to 233. So it's coming. It won't be too much longer, and we'll get to 234, 235 with the idea that these games are going to start taking a little different turn. So there's a lot of hitters out there who haven't started hitting yet. And if they do, then some of these teams are going to look a little different. I'm talking about guys like Josh Donaldson and that kind of stuff. Those guys are just waiting in the weeds. Rendon hasn't hit the ball real well yet. So some of these kind of guys. And I think the pitching is going to be one now where there won't be many limits on these guys. Most of them are throwing about 100 pitches now. And I think, I guess Boone said it last night. If Nasty Nestor got to a point where he could take that game into the 9th inning with a no-hitter, he was going to let him to go as long as he needed to go. So these guys are going to let him go. And except for the guys that are off injury or the guys that are, being babied for, trying to make sure that they don't get a certain number of innings and stuff like that. So baseball is about where it needs to be, except for the offense. And I think you're going to start to see that start an uptick.
For myself, again, we're a third of the way through May. We're in that busy season. just coming off the Kentucky Derby, the NBA, NHL playoffs full swing. Got a full month into baseball. This is week 5. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be in these lanes, but you guys really need to buckle down and can't be that kid in the candy store, especially in the MLB right now. Just because someone's been good to you the last 2 or 3 starts doesn't mean that they're going to be good to you in the next start. Keep an eye on the bullpens. Keep an eye on the teams playing basically day games, night games, traveling east to west, days off. There's so many variables, and that's what myself and Scott are here to do. We'll try to do as much homework as possible and cover every angle and not leave, any stones unturned. And that's what we do, and that's what we love to do here. So we want everyone here to embrace this. That's all. Any comments, questions, concerns, you can always send an email to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. You can reach out to Scotty at Webby20MLB or myself at EC Sports Invest and ask us about our Discord channel and how you too might be able to get on for as little as $2 a day if you want to enjoy the ECSI VIP experience as well. So always remember this: if you are wagering tonight, tomorrow, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, ask for help. Why? There's an 800 number available. Myself and Scotty want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. Schedule note: tomorrow, 10 a.m., Julian Edlow of DraftKings will be with us for about a half hour. We'll be talking some NBA, some props, and whatever crosses his desk. And in the afternoon, we might be dark. I'm going to talk to Scott after the show. I have to travel back to stores to bring the daughter back as she's getting ready to take one last vacation with her girlfriend and family to Aruba in the weekend. So I'll be heading up to stores. On Thursday at 1 o'clock, we will have Andrew McGinnis, and myself and Scott will be here in the morning for the bankroll and the closing bell. So best of luck tonight. Always, always, always enjoy these games. Embrace them. Have some fun. Cash a few tickets. And we'll see you bright and early in the morning.